Does your forehand have a really big take back? Yes, you'll be able to hit the ball with so much power with that really big take back, but at the same time, there's a higher chance you might frame it. It's also really hard to put top spin on the ball, which makes it really hard to control your shot. So this video is for those who are struggling to hit the ball with a compact take back. Now I'm going to go through a couple of exercises to fix your large take back. So let's get started. Okay, so I'm going to separate into two different parts. The first one is when you lift your racket, when you draw the upper part of that letter C. So it's this part. So check the height of your dominant hand. It shouldn't be going over your eye level. So make sure when you take your racket back in the beginning, your hand is just on your eye level or just below. Make sure it's not going over your eye level, otherwise that's going to be a bit too big. The second part is how far away should you taking your racket back. So from your ready position, start taking your racket back, your hand is at your eye level, and that's the maximum. So imagine you're standing on the big clock. That's 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 9 o'clock. When you take your racket back, your racket shouldn't be going over 6 o'clock. That's going to be a bit too big. Alright, now that you know the right size of your racket take back, let's use a couple of tools to practice perfect size take back. Okay, I've got a hula hoop with me here. The size of this hula hoop is from my waist level to about my eye level. So what I'll get you guys to do is just stand beside that hula hoop. If you have a partner, if you have someone to hold the hula hoop for you just beside you, that'll be great. Or you can just simply hang it on the wall like that. So what you're doing here is to trace this hula hoop, not with the tip of the racket, but with your hand. Continue doing this until you get the hang of it. Make sure you can do that right size without the hula hoop. So this is your second drill. You're to stand in front of the fence, and when you take your racket back, the tip of the racket should be touching the fence. Okay, so from your ready position, when you take your racket back, make sure you're drawing that semicircle. Imagine that there's a hula hoop beside you and you're tracing that circle. Then I want you guys to check if your arm and your racket is pointing to 6 o'clock every time you take the racket back. Check. Once you checked and it's at the right spot, then you start swinging your racket forward and complete your forehand shadow swing. So after a couple of shadow swings, try the same thing but without checking. Make sure the tip of the racket is touching the fence. You don't need speed at all. Just try really slowly in the beginning, and then you gradually add the speed onto it. Let's try a shadow swinging without any tools around you. So it's just your racket and yourself. So get into that ready position. Try very slowly. Your hand at your eye level or below, and no further than 6 o'clock. Swing. If you guys think this is a bit too easy, you can add some movement into it as well. So from your ready position, take a couple of steps forward and then do the shadow swing. Let's do some hitting your self-feeding forehand shot. So let's try without moving first. Again, your focus is to have that right sized racket take back. Guys, I hope this was very helpful. So 2 things we've learned today. When you take your racket back, your hand shouldn't be exceeding the height of your eye level, and your racket and your arm shouldn't be going over 6 o'clock. The reason why you want the smaller take back instead of having that really big take back is because you want to reduce the chance of you hitting the ball on the frame or somewhere around the edge, somewhere close to the frame. You want to be hitting the ball on the middle of that racket face as many times as you can. It's also important to remember the faster the ball comes to you, the shorter